G'day legends, I hope you're all amazing. I've got a real treat today. I've got a vintage MXR Flanger doubler to try out. A big thank you to Verlie at PastFx for loaning me this particular unit. I understand that Verlie is working on a PastFx version of this particular unit in pedal form, which I'm really excited about. This has kind of become a mythical piece of gear due to its use on some classic records and associations with players like Dimebag Tones and Eric Johnson. Basically, it's a flanger in a really big box. You have controls for manual, you've got width, which is the depth control, you've got speed, you've got a mix control. The regeneration control is going to control the feedback. There is a switch to flip the phase on the delay line over there, and then there's a switch which lets you select between a flanger, basically a very short delay time, and a doubler, which is going to be a longer delay time on here. If you haven't checked out some of my other videos with flangers recently, particularly my PastFx 80A flanger, I kind of go through and explain what all of these things do in quite a bit of depth. I'm not going to do that today. I mostly just want to focus on the sounds because this is just such an inspiring sounding unit. It's lush, it's warm, it is mono, so I'll do some examples where I use a Layla P-split to kind of run this wet dry. Big shout out to my buddy Ryan from PlagueScytheStudios as well for providing some raw dime riffage for me to reamp later in the video, but we're going to hear this clean, and we'll hear it dirty, we'll hear a kind of 80s style studio clean sound with it. I'll try to do my take on the doubling thing that Dime did with this, and then we'll hear some of Ryan's clips. So let's dive straight in with the one chord you have to play with any modulation device. Now, one of the reasons these units are so sought after these days is their use in Dimebag Darrell's rig. And what I'm going to do is show you how I would go about personally setting this up to do the kind of doubling thing that he was known for. My understanding is Dime would have two heads in stereo, and one of the heads would have the flanger doubler in the effects loop. So essentially, you're going to use this to create a very short delay, and you get that so-called Haas effect. It's going to sound super wide. The trick is, on the doubler mode, turn the width control all the way down. That way you can control just the delay time with the manual control. I'm going to increase the mix control as I go up. And what I've done here is I've split my signal post-gain using a Layla P-split. You can see it right here, one of my favorite pieces of gear, such a handy little orange box. So as I turn the mix up, you're going to hear the kind of perceived stereo image increase. This is really, really fun. If you use the flanger mode, you are going to get much shorter delay times in this setup. So you're going to create like a comb filter effect. It's not quite as effective for getting that wide thing, but I actually really like this flanger post gain in general. Even wet dry, we'll start off with the width all the way down, and then I'll just increase it. Now, of course, my sound is nothing like Dimebag Darrell's, but my good friend Ryan at PlagueScytheStudios recently did a video in his Tone Engineer series recreating Dime's Randall-based tone. So he was kind enough to send me the raw audio files of that so that I could reamp it with the flanger doubler. So the next couple of minutes are going to be Ryan riffing out with his meticulous recreation of Dime's tone. I really hope you enjoy it, and I'm just going to twist some knobs on this. This was a real treat to put together. That's it for today. I really hope you enjoyed the tones. This was an absolute treat to play through. I have tried a lot of vintage rack gear over the last couple of years, and playing through this directly, I can understand why so many people consider it so desirable. I'm sure you could get close to this with a lot of other, say, flanger pedals out there, but there is something about having this really big box with the giant controls on it, and just the rack format and the way it looks, the association with players like Dime and Eric Johnson, obviously, but I would love to hear PastFx do their take on this. You know, they've done some of my favorite pedals that I've tried ever, let alone over the last couple of years. Their elastic mattress flanger, their hot for flanger, which is an MXR style flanger. I'm sure you could get some really similar results to what I did here if you've got something to split your signal, if you want to do a wet dry thing. It was really, really awesome. And then hearing those clips from Ryan at PlagueScytheStudios through this, you can definitely hear the Dime vibe in there. I'm not sure what Dimebag settings were, like I said earlier, but you know, just kind of twisting some knobs, it sort of brings it to life and brings that extra width and girth that those classic Pantera records have on them. And I never got to experience Dimebag live, but it must have been absolutely crushing, his Randall rig with this in it. Oh, it would have been so cool. And I know there's a lot of Dimebag fans out there watching this, so let me know what I should be doing with this on here. Are there settings posted somewhere? Are there specific use cases? My understanding is Zach Wild is actually using Dime's old MXR flanger doubler in his rig, so I'm sure Grady Champion probably knows a thing or two about how to set that thing up. Nevertheless, thank you to Verlie, thank you to Ryan, and thank you to all of you wonderful people out there for continuing to support what I do here on the channel. I massively appreciate it, and I hope you all have a great day. I'll see you next time. Cheers.